I'm on this dialectic rampage lately. This is the third video in a row where I'm trying to impress upon the public of one of the primary methods by which they're continually and perpetually enslaved. And yeah, I'm not going to try and censor myself this video, so again, we'll probably go absolutely nowhere. But John Kerry, who used to be a senator in the United States, and of course he was in Yale's Skull and Bones, I think in the same, somewhere around the same graduating class as George Bush Jr. But don't worry about that, that doesn't mean anything. So you have John Kerry flying around, and this is what he said, and this is such a prime example of dialectics. Now, dialectics is there to always keep you in a confused brain state. So they have to keep you in a ping-pong brain state between basically confusion, rage, anger, terror, and fear. So I know that's basically 5 things, but confusion is one side of the ping-pong table, and rage and anger, and terror and panic are the other side of the ping-pong table. Now, if they can keep you in those 2 brainwave states, you'll never be able to think your way out of your slavery, which is basically invisible, which is basically set upon you by dialectics, by their words. They're casting spells on you, to change the function of your nervous system. That's what they're doing. And they will never let you out of that nervous system state between confusion and rage, panic, terror, and fear. They will never let you out. And you can see that the entire media is set to keep you in that ping pong game. And here's a prime example. You know, this is a pretty obvious example, but most people, even when it's obvious like this, they don't know how it works. They don't know how this phrase this sentence by John Kerry has been well scripted, and he doesn't even have to get the script. When he's in that secret society, they are taught about dialectics. No one's got to email him. No one's got to tell him to say this. He knows that he has to formulate and manufacture public announcements that confuse the public or either enrage the public. That's it. That's his job. And no one's got to keep up with them and grade them. He knows, as a high-standing member in one of these societies, that this is exactly what his function is, as is all the other people who are on TV. They're given the same script because nothing stun guns the public more than phrases like this. Paralyzes the public and just disempowers them on like an invisible level. They call it the magic. We won't get into it, but it's called the 5th element. Look up the 4 earth elements and look up the 5th element. The 5th element is this invisible force that changes physical reality. So their words are invisible. They change you in an invisible way. And this is what's known as magic. So you don't see that their words have vibrations, that their words have frequencies, and it impacts your nervous system and can take you completely offline, like an EMP, like an electromagnetic pulse that was in, what was that movie? Ocean's 11, can take you neurologically completely offline. And when you're offline, you are the perfect slave. I mean, the perfect slave. You can't think, you can't get anything going, you can't get a grip on the mountain of success. You just slide into the abyss of nothingness when these phrases impact your nervous system. So most of their power comes from their words. And again, it's all about confusion. So here's what John Kerry said. He said, you know, emphatically and aggressively, if we don't stop farming, we're all gonna starve to death. Okay? Yeah. Now, as I've described before on the two videos before this, that makes no sense. It's not designed to make sense, because if you can get a human hooked up neurologically and monitor the brain waves when they hear something like that, and you're watching their brain waves, it makes so little sense that there's a perceived authority figure. So that's sort of one belief, saying something that makes no sense. How can we, if we don't stop farming, we're going to starve to death? Doesn't make sense. It causes a stun gun effect, just like in Star Trek. Set the phasers to stun, and a stunned public who can't make heads nor tails, up nor down, black nor white, of any situation that's going on. It's called oh dearism. Another author called it oh dearism, where people just say, oh dear, because nothing makes any sense. It's not designed to make sense. This is how they maintain power. So don't be surprised when you are watching TV or watching a government official speak or watching the news. They all have the same marching orders. Confuse the shit out of the public or keep them angry. That's your only job. Confusion or anger. Because that keeps the people in such a low IQ, stun gun, paralytic state, they'll never rebel. And even someone like we all know up in Canada, Justin Castro. So he said he came out, I don't know, maybe about a year and a half ago or a year ago, and said, I never coerced anybody to, take the jibby jab. And of course, people were outraged, losing their mind, because it's so contradictory. But he knows he doesn't. What do you think they learned in the Young Leaders Program? Justin Trudeau went to the Young Leaders Program at the World Economic Forum. And what do you think they learned? They learned these simple tactics. No one's got to email them because they don't want these emails ever being seen. He's just educated in private one time, and he's told, just like the other ones are told, confuse the shit out of them or make them angry, so that we can dominate and colonize their brain, and therefore we can dominate and colonize their countries and their cities and their communities. This is not complex stuff. And again, this is going to go absolutely nowhere because I put all the words in there that the algorithm knows can break the spell when people find out, yeah, I see it all the time. Because you didn't see it probably before I pointed it out. Watch the dialectics, watch the opposites, watch the rage, watch the anger, watch the fear, watch the terror. They will ping pong you between those two spectrums on, those two opposite ends of the pole. And you're going to be in trouble all the time because you don't have the IQ to think your way out of this. You need more information like this, email me at info@jchristoff.com. This is Jason Christoff signing out. Thanks for listening.